Okay, so another way to share your knowledge about the tourism products and services to your colleagues is by verbal explanation. So once you have a time to your colleagues, one particular staff, you can share your information by verbally talking to him, explaining to him what you have learned from your recent trainings or seminars that you are attending. And also you can share it by staff briefing. Have you remember when you are still in second year college on your OGT, when you are belong to a particular department wherein the department head or the supervisor conducted a short briefing before you will go to your different duties and responsibilities. So at that time, you have a small gathering briefing discussing small important things, especially coming from your department. That's the time that you can also have an opportunity to share your information or knowledge that you gain from different sources. Also, you can share your information through staff meeting. The difference between staff briefing and staff meeting, the staff briefing is just a by department, okay? But the staff meeting, it is the entire organization or business establishment that has a, like for example, a general meeting. So that's the time that you can also share your information or knowledge that you gain from different sources, okay? Not just verbally that you can share your information, but also by providing your colleagues or your workmates with hard copy materials. So another effective method of providing tourism information to staff is through the distribution of hard copy materials. So for example, if you are just recently attended a webinars or any conference or trainings, they usually provide you with a copy of it. So what you do is you need to photocopy, give a hard copy to your workmates or staff so that they can also learn even though they did not attend certain seminars or conference. This method may be used as an individual activity or in conjunction with other information delivery method. So it includes developing paper-based information and data sheets for staff use. And it is also replace and replenish internal displays information points with new or revised materials. You cannot just share your information by verbal or by just talking to your colleagues and by providing hard copy, but as of today, um, you can provide your colleagues with electronic materials. Okay, through technology, there are very flexible ways to share information, just like what we did today. Before, we can share our information only by face to face. We are gathering in one place in a real time, in a specific time. But today, because of the technology, we can gather anywhere and anytime. You can hear, you can listen to those information, though you are very far from my place right now. Okay, so you can share also through electronic materials. Communicating electronically is the most common way of sending information to staff. So what are those examples? Emailing coworkers with the informations you have discovered, attaching relevant information as applicable. I know that you are already um, use the email in sending informations to your classmates, especially if you have an assignment. You send your output or the result of your assignment through electronic like email or management system like Google Classroom, and also updating the internal system such as CRS. Again, the CRS is just like a bank that you will deposit money. Instead of money, you will deposit informations that will be used by the entire staff of a certain establishment. And another thing is very important is to have a training sales staff in relation to tourism products and services. That is why, as the owner of a tourism establishment, it is important that the tourism staff must have a proper training on how to sell the products and services. It can affect the profit of your establishment. So training and development of staff is a primary requirement for sharing information. So if one day if you will work in a tourism destination or establishment, it is important that you will be undergo training on how to sell the products and services. As the direct provider of services to customers, staff must not only have the knowledge and skills to be able to do their job adequately, they must also have support and guidance from management. So it is important that while you are still undergo the training or you are just hired from a certain job, the knowledge and skills that you gain from the school or from your on-the-job training is not enough. That is why it is important that there's support coming from the management. So it is important that this opportunity is not lost through staff having insufficient knowledge of the following types of tourism products and services, inclusions in different products and services, promotion and offer, and lastly, promotional and selling techniques to sell tourism products and services. So any training activity must serve a purpose. The content of the training should be specific to commonly requested tourism products and services, and to tailor them to the needs of the different target market segments. Okay? Normally, training events are arranged when customer service deficiencies exist which need to be addressed. New staff required training. Just like what I have mentioned, if there's a newly hired employee or staff, they must undergo a training. New packages are introduced. For example, your products has a new packaging. It is important that the staff should undergo training so that they will know why is the company or the organization change its packaging. New packaged products or services components are introduced and retrainings is required. The newly hired employee is not just the one who will undergo the training, but also the old employees. They must have a retraining. They must have a refreshing course to attend, so that they will enhance more and they will not forget, especially those important things. Okay, so this slide was I was discussing earlier. Excuse me. So let's proceed to the last learning outcomes about contribute to changes tourism products, services, and service standards to meet identified customer needs. Okay, so tourism products and services provided and promoted to clients will change to meet the needs of clients. So these needs will vary depending on the number of different pressures and influences in their lives. So some tourist products and services that are popular today may not be popular in 5 years' time. For many reasons, some of which are predictable, others may not be. Have you noticed not just the tourism products and services, but also the products that you purchase in a grocery store? For example, once you will go to any malls in Tagbilaran City, Alturas, BQ malls, have you noticed the products that you purchase this day? They have a new packaging, and then in the following months or years, they have minor changes of their products. They change their flavor, they change the color of the packaging, they change um, the form or the structure of the products. So there must be continuous changing of the products. The purpose of that is that it should not be obsolete. It must be have a trends in what happened um, every day or every month or every years. So in this section, we will explore how tourism organizations can appreciate changes that need to take place to the products and services they provide to clients. So each individual product or services may require a different target market and a different strategy. So even those companies which manage one product only have to alter it because of technology improvement. So changing taste and preference in the marketplace. So developing new products and managing existing ones to meet market conditions and eventually to plan for their successors is an important part of marketing strategy. So the products and services that provided by a tourism must have a continuous changes. It should be adapt what is in the trends today. Just what happened in the electronic industry or technology industry, like the most famous, like Nokia or the Kodak, because they failed to adapt to the new changes. They failed to adapt to create a new ideas. What happened to their company? The company is in the status of bankruptcy. So it is important in a field of business, especially in the tourism industry, that there must be changes on the products and services in order for you to survive in the marketplace. Okay. How to undertake marketing questions. So the first is we need to determine the external environment. So sample of the questions are: what major demographic trends pose threats and offer opportunities to products and services? Another question is: what economic developments in income, prices, savings, and credit will affect the popularity of products and services? Also, what are the key technology changes that impact on the popularity products and services? And also, what current and proposed laws will affect the popularity products and services? And lastly, what is the public's attitude toward business and products and services? What changes in the customer lifestyle might have an impact? So these following questions are very important that should be run in the mind of the tourist destinations owner. You will not just stay what you are traditionally doing in your products and services. There should have a lot of questions that will run into our minds in order for our business or the products or services that we provided stay in the marketplace. Those are the external environment that we need to consider. Not just the external environment, but also the internal environment. These are the following questions that we need also to consider. Number one, what is happening to market size, growth, share, geographic distribution, profits? What are the major market segments? Did you still remember what we mean by market segments? It is the group of different customers, different clients, according to their specific groups. Like they can be segmented or separate groups through their age. For example, age 1 to 5, and you should provide different products to the different age bracket. So like for example, a specific product of milk. So there must have a market segmentation of the products of a milk from an age 1 to 3. And there also another kind of milk that will be provided from the age 50 to 80, which is example is unlean. And the age 1 to 5, for example, Nido. So they have a different kinds of products depending on the market segmentation. So it must also be considered by the tourist destinations owners. So how do customers rate the company or product quality, service, and price? How do they make their buying decisions? Who are the major competitors? What are their major strategies, market shares, and strengths and weaknesses? What trends are affecting suppliers? What key public provide problems or opportunities? So we also need to consider or to identify the demand for individual products and services. Okay. Number one is through observation. These are the following things to do so that we can easily identify the demand of individual products and services. First is observation. Before I will talk about observation, individual products and services can be selected for implementation or promotion. It is wise to understand and identify the degree for demand for it. So many organizations will conduct some kind of market demand analysis to determine the level of demand that may exist and the level of expected profitability this demand may attract. There are many ways in which to check demand for specific products and services, naturally, if they are in existence at the moment. So often in competing properties. So we will first identify the demands. One of that is through observation. So you may be able to observe the popularity of specific tourism products, services, destination, or packages. Also conduct a trial run. This may be a limited offer or special promotion. Have you noticed when you are in BQ, mostly in BQ, they have a pre-test of their new products. For example, a juice Tang company, they have provide a new flavor. For example, they provide a new flavor, grapes. They will have a pre-test to the to the people who are walking in those area, and they will have a pre-test. Okay, so that is one of their strategy for promotional. Also, place an advertisement to identify the level of interest in a product. So the company will have an advertisement, just like, for example, in the TV, there's an advertisement in the middle of the movie, not just in the television, but also now in social media, for example, in YouTube. That is why the YouTuber has a huge amount of income where they get from the money from YouTube. It's because of the advertisement. That is why every they have a video, certain video, there is advertisement at the middle. So the advertising company will pay the YouTube, and the YouTube company will pay the owner of the YouTube channel. Also, sales records. We need to identify the demands through the sales record. This will certainly be the most accurate measurement of demand. This may be hard to access if this only exists in competing properties. Also, the suppliers. They will be able to provide information as to where their products have been placed, the volume of business and trends. Also, industry associations, they will be able to provide information relating to sales statistics. And also, journals and articles. They may contain informational articles and reviews discussing the popularity or success of products or services recently introduced into the market. And also we have other outlets in the organization. May chains are made up of a large number of outlets. These outlets can discuss the success and failures of new initiatives. What do you mean by outlets? Another branch of a certain business. Just for example, in our school, Baiso Kandihay is not alone. We have a Baiso main campus, Baiso Balilian, Baiso Bilar. So that's the example of outlet. So the tourism destinations or any hotel businesses also have an outlets that will be provide the information of the demand of their clients. Also, we can identify the demand of the um, customers or clients through competitors. You may have a contact with other hotel who may be willing to share information. So your competitors also may provide informations what are the demand of their specific tourists. By doing that, you can easily identify how to change, how to adapt your products and services. And also by feasibility study. Conduct a study into an interest in specific items or for services. So there's a similarities about feasibility study and a research study. In the research study, it is abroad that you want to discover something out of the what happened in a specific field, example in the tourism and hospitality industry. But in the feasibility study, you will conduct a study. You will propose a business if it will be um, not just a business but also a product and services that you are planning to create. So you will conduct a feasibility study if this business or if this products or service is feasible, if it is possible, it is it, whether it has a possibility that it will click or it will boom. So they will conduct a feasibility study before they will create a new product and services. So the purpose of this is to less the time, efforts, especially in spending money. For example, if we will not conduct a feasibility study and we will create a business or product and services, the tendency is we don't have a sureness if the clients or our target market will patronize our products and services. So that's the purpose of feasibility study. Um, we need also to develop a new products or services first, hoping it will sell. Also, financial risk. What do you mean by financial risk? It's market research, staff consultation, or market trial or testing. So these are the risks in a new product and services development. Okay, if we will create a new product and services, these things will may happen. Financial risk. Okay, and developing a new product or services first and hoping it will sell. Also, duplication from competitors. We don't know what are the new products and services also provided by our competitors. So if even if a patent or copyright is protecting your product, competitors only need to vary the prototype slightly to have an acceptable imitations that does not infringe copyright. So again, if a certain company will create a new product and services, they will register it, they will have a copyright or patent, so that the other businesses, if they will imitate your products, you have the ability or the power to fight with your competitors, and they will pay for penalty or they will suffer from consequences. Just like, for example, the strategy of Rusi, a motor company. You have noticed that the Rusi company imitates the design of the different famous companies like Honda, um, Mitsubishi, or Kawasaki, or or any other motor company. So the Rus company will imitate the design of the different motor company, but they make a slightly different so that they will have uh, the rights to refuse that they don't 100% copy the design of the motor companies. So that is the um, strategy of some companies. They will imitate, but they will not fully imitate the design of the competitors products and services. Also, the time to taken to develop new products or services, particularly in a fast-moving industry. So they have the problem in changing the products in a fastest way. To be able to move quickly and in order to avoid expensive new products or services failure, it is wise to follow an organized new products or services development process. So these are the steps in the flow or the process in developing new products and services. Number one is you need to have a idea generation, and then you will have a screening, and then you will evaluate the idea, and then develop. It means in the area of technical and commercial. And then lastly is commercialization. Okay. Also, suggesting evidence-based reasons for change and preparing presentations to support personal recommendations for change. Another thing is ensuring all suggestions for change are supported by a formal, rational, and are fully costed. Next, developing an action plan for implementing recommended changes. Next is participating in group activities designed to identify and lastly develop relevant changes. So each organization may have different ways in which to manage changes, tourism products, services, and service standards, common steps. Okay, so these are the following. Okay, thank you so much for listening for a very long discussion about the first session. Don't worry, this session will only last for a long uh, time. I think it exists for 1 hour and a few minutes. So this afternoon, we are going to listen again for the session 2, Develop Tourism Market Knowledge. Don't forget to take your attendance and enjoy the break. Thank you.